is a World War II flight game currently in open beta on PC, and it's filled with frantic dogfights.
Oh dear! Oh dear! Extra speed off to the right, Goose. You're on your own. Whoa! Oh dear!
We'll get to the Oculus support in a moment, but for now let's talk about the game. This is considered as an MMO, but it's a lobby game. There's no open world, just lots of players and unlocked progression. It's jumping into the world of tanks kind of scene. In fact, it was even called World of Planes for a while.
There is a lot to do here. PvE co-op missions, custom scenarios, and arcade PvP, which is where we spent most of our time. As you progress, you'll unlock more planes for each country in World War II, and very slowly upgrade and modify them. There's over 100, and more are planning to be added, which we think will keep the enthusiasts happy. I wouldn't know one of these planes from the other, but after a while I started to find my favorites, and I was fascinated by how they were handled differently. And it's such a spectacular looking game too.
I agree. In fact, I can't think of another flight game that even comes close to this visually. I mean, in terms of this scale.
There is a lot of detail and huge draw distances, plus the damage model on each plane is excellent, and it reminds you how fragile they are. I loved the clouds, and I'd find myself just flying through them and forgetting about the battle. They look so good.
The cockpit view is terrifying, as it should be, but especially in a storm. All the wonderful instruments and rickety old plane stuff is nice and detailed, and we can only assume accurate to the planes. Audio complements each view perfectly too. It's particularly thrilling in a dogfight with headphones on as the rat-a-tat-tat barrels past your ears.
Apparently this game is coming to PS4 as well, which is a really good thing because the biggest problem with it right now is the controller support, so they'll obviously have to iron that out. Right now, the only way to play this game effectively is with the mouse and keyboard, and from what I've read, some flight sticks. I know it's only in beta, so it's not completely fair to criticize this, but I must have spent half a day trying to get the controller settings right with the right amount of dead zone and sensitivity, but I still just had so much wobble, and at the end of the day, mouse wins on the battlefield.
And considering their website boasts multi-control support, which you need for a game like this to keep the population up and spending, you should be able to just plug in a 360 controller and go, but you can't really.
There is a realistic multiplayer mode which removes mouse view by force, but we could actually get a game there, and I'd say that's probably because it's easier to earn XP in arcade battles. One downside about arcade mode is that all the planes are easier to fly. So this means the countries which have planes that have their strengths in maneuverability are going to have too many weaknesses when they're on the arcade battlefield.
Did you guys know you can drift if you press Q and E? Sick drifts.
To be honest, we haven't unlocked enough planes from all of the countries to really accurately assess that, but the good news is the mouse aim controls are fantastic, and it's by far the most spectacular way to play this game. Flicking your mouse up and down will steer the plane quickly, and by moving your crosshair, the plane will automatically correct to line up.
When you die in the battlefield, that plane is gone until you finish the match, and it does cost to repair, so stakes are reasonably high. I really liked that when you run out of planes, you can leave the match before it's over without any penalty.
Yeah, I like that too, and I like how you don't have to have dogfights. You can just go and attack ground units and still be a valuable member to your team.
More experienced players will want to try out the realistic control settings so that they can play with a whole bunch of confusing flight instruments. There's actually quite a lot of sim in this game, isn't there? Even though the best way to play is still with a point-and-click mouse.
Yeah, and once you let go of the fact that the mouse makes it feel a little like it's on rails, you soon discover that there are still heaps of strategy in these dogfights. Depending on your plane, of course, it's mostly about managing momentum. These are slow, rickety, fragile planes. If you aim your plane straight down at full speed, don't expect a safe recovery by just pulling up. You're probably not going to get out of that dive alive. And that makes sense, and I like that about this game.
It really is about planning your attacks and having good patience, isn't it? You're just not going to catch someone by chasing them with your throttle on full. You need to change trajectory to fly where they're going to be, and even that can be unsuccessful if they change course suddenly.
I find altitude to be everything. It's all about staying as high as you can and looking for unsuspecting pilots below. Then you just need to pick the right moment to dive bomb, cut your throttle so you don't overshoot, use your combat flaps if you got them, and then wait for the perfect moment to unleash hell for maximum effect.
Yeah, at first I was firing as soon as a target came on screen, but that then indicates you're in range. You soon realise that that just makes your target start to veer off. Short burst attacks are essential, and that means being stealthy.
Yeah, and I love that planning stage, especially when you've got a wingman, or wingwoman, or wing person.
Okay, I'm on the guy. There's two of them after you. I'm on them.
No chance.
He's dead. I see him.
He's coming right for us! Oh, no! Ah! Incendiary rounds!
Yes!
Surely I can jump in.
Oh dear! Oh dear! Oh! Are you gonna try and land through that barn? Oh, you're doing it!
Excuse me, that was awesome.
Fantastic, you haven't stopped yet though. Perhaps my trajectory of approach
Perfect. 10 out of 10 for that landing.
was not quite right.
They're also working on a ground support feature as well, but let's talk about what it's like with the Oculus Rift. I actually found this kind of incredible, especially as the plane was banking and I'm looking down at the ground below me. I just felt like I was right up there. Just looking down and seeing the houses.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, it replicates that feeling of flying really well, doesn't it? I guess my only issue is that you wouldn't really want to take this online. It wouldn't be your first choice to play competitively because you'd feel at a disadvantage. The resolution is still not great, and you know you're battling with that sensation of feeling sick anytime you want to pull off some kind of tricky maneuver.
Yeah, it really is just about the experience, isn't it? That flying sensation. And what an experience. I can't wait for the high resolution version of this.
Oh god, someone's behind me.
Oh no.
Oh god.
Look behind you.
Oh, I see them. Oh god, they're hitting me.
Oh no.
Oh god, I feel sick. I'm upside down. I'm gonna crash. I'm gonna crash. I'm gonna crash.
It's stressful just watching it from here.
I'm trying to do evasive maneuvers.
This is too much. Oh, your windscreen's getting shot up.
Oh god. Oh, I feel sick.
Look behind,
oh god.
you.
Oh god, no.
Oh, no,
I'm going down. That was really scary.
Yeah.
Oh, the crash was scary.
Oh.
I felt like a total loss of control just then. Now, as far as the pay model goes, it certainly doesn't feel pay to win to us, but there's definitely a grindiness to it. This is common with free-to-play games like this though, and apparently it opens up a bit more once you get at least one decent plane, but we haven't been able to grind up to that yet. Well, this is a fantastic fighter game with some intense moments and glorious atmosphere and surprisingly minimal lag as well. It's not really fair to score it yet, but I could give it a beta score of 7.5.
I wish you could modify the planes a bit quicker, but Hex, I had a great time with this. I lost days without even blinking, so I'm going to give it a beta score of 8 out of 10 rubber chickens with a possible 9 if they fix the controller.
Well, if this isn't a big enough year already with new consoles and new tech like this, 2013 is also the 30th anniversary of the Nintendo Entertainment System.
Yes, and to celebrate, Goose blows some dust out of some cartridges and hits the power button.